All right, you're on that Postgame Show Out West. Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Tanner Ringo. I'm calling from New York City.
From New York City, all the way out on the East Coast. How did you enjoy the spring game today?
Yes, sir. I watched the spring game on Big Ten Network. It looks way nicer in Eugene than it is here. I'm staring out my window. It's a lightning storm right now.
What were some of your big takeaways from the spring game today?
Man, I was just listening, talking about the pass catchers, and I just wanted to come in and hype up Kenyon Sadiq some more because Dante looked his way so much when he was getting reps, and the start to the season was a little weird for him last year because Ferguson was such an entrenched starter, and it seemed like when he got in the games, he was kind of getting more gimmicky touches, but he came on so strong at the end of the season, and he brings that size that guys like Moore and Stewart don't bring so much to the pass catching room, and he's just a freak when he has the ball in his hands. It was so fun to watch, and I'm super fired up for him this season.
Dude, today was it's just a glimpse. It's just a glimpse. And, of course, everybody's going to point to that Big Ten championship game, scoring those first 2 touchdowns, certainly as well. But it's the athleticism. And I've talked about it in previous editions of this show where it's just the matchup. How do you match up? Like, if you're a defensive coordinator, how do you match up against Sadiq? Okay, he's running, how does a linebacker match up against him? Well, he can use his speed and his athleticism that you just talked about to burn past him. Well, you put him against a smaller guy, especially in a red zone situation. He can use his physicality. You can kind of post him up. And there's so many, and we've seen this offensive staff not only last year, but the spring game. Like, I know it's vanilla, but we saw them kind of do a couple of different things with Kenyon throughout this game and getting him involved in separate ways. It's like, and I was talking about this earlier, where you could put Kenyon in the slot. You could do, I think one thing I think that maybe as many people aren't talking about is I think Jamari Johnson is going to get a little bit more run because they're going to be a little bit more flexible, possibly, with Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, he could throw a mean block. I feel like that doesn't get discussed a lot. He had a couple great plays in the run game that might not get talked about as much. He's such a physical player. He's so fun to watch.
He was PFF, I think, graded him as one of the best. I'm not sure exactly where he ranked, but I think he graded him as one of the best blocking tight ends out there. It's easy. It's sexy to talk about, oh, my God, look at that athleticism. Look at the hurdle over the Penn State defender. Look at this touchdown and look at that touchdown. And that's great. But it's not only, what PFF says, but I think a press conference from Drew Maringer, I think he said just how great he is as a blocker. How do you think Kenyon is going to be involved in this offense? Like, do you think that he's going to be we feel like Dak and Eastu are certainly going to be the top wide receivers. Like, what exactly do you think that we can get out of Kenyon? How high do you think he can fly from like a statistical vantage point?
Well, one thing I'm really hoping he can step in and do is for the past 2 years with Bo and with Gabriel, Terrence was our clutch, gotta have it receiver, especially on 4th and 3rd down. I would love to see him be that big body, reliable target that you can go to in crunch time. And I think it was encouraging that, Dante, it always looked like he was looking his way first. Like that was his kind of safety blanket. And if you can just get him the ball in space on those short area throws and let him make plays, I think he could just have a monster season.
Oh man, one thing when I talked about it in a previous show of Ross Douglas, and I know he's a wide receivers coach at Syracuse. He's a wide receivers coach, of course, here, but they had a tight end last year, Aranda Ganson at Syracuse. He had like 900 yards receiving. I don't think he was double digits in terms of touchdowns, but I'm like, I don't think that's certainly out of the question. It's not out of the question, certainly as well. Anything else besides Kenyon stand out to you in the spring game today?
Just how the wide receiver room is going to shake out. We've talked about this last season, too, about how maybe things will open up a little bit more with how much depth we had. And outside of when Tez went down, it really didn't. But it seems like keeping guys like Dickey and Gresham and Benson, the transfer, off the field, I just don't know how you don't incorporate those guys.
Yeah, Dickey is one, and I was just talking about him that I would love to see everybody certainly stick around. Portal's closed. We'll see if some announcements certainly come out these next couple of days, but I'm just excited about the depth. I'm excited about the depth that I'm hoping that Ross Douglas, what he had statistically, you look down the stats over there at Syracuse, and then because there's so much talent, there's so much depth in this room where it's like we know Dak is going to be a superstar. We were just talking, you and I were just talking about Kenyon Sadiq and what he could be. We feel like Evan Stewart could be close to 1,000 yards. If he's not, I think it's okay. But then I think there's just so much room for some of these other guys to have 300 yards receiving and 400 yards receiving and 500 yards receiving as well. People forget. Now a healthy Gary Bryant had 400 yards, 6 or 7 touchdowns in 2023. He had another good year over there at USC as well. And I've kind of been at fault a little bit where I look at this wide receiver battle and I get focused on a couple of names. And then you forget, oh, yeah, we got a 5-star in Jerry Dickey. Oh, that's right. Gary Bryant is coming off of an injury when he was a good part of the offense in 2023. And you keep going down the list. People have brought up Dylan Gresham, who, of course, had that touchdown in the spring game, certainly today. So there's a ton of depth. And then, of course, with the quarterback talent, where, whether it's Dante or whether it's Austin, especially if it's Dante, you're going to sling that ball, I think, down the field a lot more. You're going to get a lot more explosive plays going down the field as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just fired up. I think the offense will have a new look with Dante, and it'll be explosive, exciting. I'm feeling optimistic going into the season.
Likewise. Well, thank you for the call, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dad. Have a good one.